Thursday morning. You are watching Witches the Moon, and I am your hostess, Natalie. This week's topic is the evil eye. Now, my video is being pre-recorded, so you may hear some repetition between myself and some of the other hosts, as I was not able to see any of their videos before recording this one. But I'm going to share just a little bit of information that I know about the evil eye, its history, and how to figure out if you are under the influence of the evil eye. The evil eye you see a lot in Latin cultures, and I believe its origins are originally Italian, but you see it believed very strongly in by the Hispanic community as well. The evil eye is a specific hex or curse that is directed towards someone using the power of the gaze. So literally they're sending evil energy to you through the eye. They look at you and they're glaring at you. They've got this menacing, and you may not even notice that it's been done. Now, what causes the evil eye? Anybody can send you the evil eye for any reason that they choose. So the evil eye also not only affects just people. It can be sent towards animals, it can be sent towards buildings, it can be sent towards groups of people. So different things that, might start to happen. For example, if it's sent towards farming animals, maybe a cow, then the milk begins to dry up. If it's a plant, like a fruiting tree, then perhaps the tree no longer bears fruit or the fruit is no good. Those used to be signs that perhaps the evil eye had been set upon something. Typically in the folklore you hear about the evil eye being sent in terms of jealousy. I know that when I went to Mexico, people would touch my hair, they would touch my clothes, they would touch me because if they admire something and they don't touch it, to them touching kind of negates the evil eye. They don't want to inadvertently pass it to you by being jealous of it or admiring of it. Almost kind of a lasciviousness kind of thing. It's almost a belief that once they touch it, it breaks the energy that sends the evil eye. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of the evil eye. I was about 11 years old the first time we went to Mexico, and that happened, and it just drove me nuts because I didn't speak Spanish, and I'm not a big, I don't mind people touching me, but people I don't know just walking up to me and just, grabbing my hair and saying something to me, touching my face, and I'm kind of like, whoa, what is this? That's when I found out about the evil eye and where it comes from and so forth. Now, in terms of how do you know if you're under the influence of the evil eye, there are a lot of symptoms that go along with it. Excessive hiccuping, coughing, sudden illnesses that are unexplained, sudden runs of bad luck, maybe just things are not working for you, things are breaking, things are, seems like everything you touch falls apart, that kind of thing. I've heard that those are symptoms for being under the influence of the evil eye. If you are familiar at all with Christopher Pinchik, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, to be honest with you. He has a book called The Witch's Shield. He has a section in there on the evil eye specifically, and I was going to read part of that to you because this was a method I was unfamiliar with until I read this book. He said that this is a method for divining whether you're under the influence of the evil eye and breaking it that is specific to the Italian tradition. He claims that the origin of the evil eye is Italian. But he said that you will need a needle, some extra virgin olive oil, and a cooking pot for spaghetti. You're supposed to bring the water to a boil and then reduce the heat to low and let it simmer. Then, as the water is simmering, you're supposed to put 3 drops of the extra virgin olive oil in the water. If the oil separates or kind of smears, mixes in with the water, then the malocchio or the evil eye is not present. If the drops come together, then that is a sign that the evil eye is present. And the way that you would break that would be to sterilize a needle over an open flame of a candle that you have blessed. Then take the needle and plunge it into the oil until the oil separates. You may have to do that more than once. If the oil is not breaking on the first motion of the needle, repeat it until it does. The more difficult it is to break apart, the stronger the evil eye curse is. That was something that I was unfamiliar with. I have heard of another evil eye technique, a way to know whether or not you are under the influence of the evil eye is to take an egg and you crack the egg over a pot. If the yolk breaks, then there's no evil eye. If the yolk stays, then there's an evil eye. And you can take a similar method to this one that I had heard of, is to take like a needle or your atame and break the yolk. And as the yolk breaks, it will release the curse of the evil eye. I don't know how strongly I believe in the evil eye specifically, like just looking. To me, I find that a lot of times malevolent workings require a lot more effort than just looking at somebody. That being said, I think that our energy is very potent, and the stronger the witch, the stronger the potency of your energy, because you've learned to hone it, and it becomes second nature to you. So if you're up against someone who's been practicing the craft for many years, or just has strong control over their energies, maybe they don't consider themselves a witch, but they have strong control over their energy, and they're able to direct that effectively, you could definitely, I think, see some serious results from the evil eye. I find that a lot of times we are sending that kind of energy out to somebody, especially if we're angry with them, and that's something to guard against. But I don't necessarily think it's the gaze itself. I think that's the way the energy is directed. To me, the energy manifests itself in the brain. So the evil eye could be the evil finger, it could be the evil eye, it could just be an evil thought. And you're directing it using your gaze because you're looking at the person and you're thinking, oh, I'm so mad at you. And I find myself guilty of this a lot of the time because my husband makes me very angry a lot of the time. He's not a very pleasant individual on the whole. He doesn't like a lot of people, and sometimes he gets on these little kicks where he's just negative all the time, and I find myself directing that negative energy. So I don't know how much of that is what I'm sending forward and it's being redirected at me, maybe over time. So that's something that I have personally tried to guard against. I try to really guard my thoughts and to not think anything or mutter something that I would regret later, or that may influence something at a later time or immediately, using my gaze. I think that the evil eye could be very potent. I know there's people that believe very strongly in the evil eye. And the best way, I think, to protect yourself against something like the evil eye is to make sure that you have your general protections up. The Witch's Shield is an excellent book for knowing what stones and herbs are correspondent. He talks about knowing the difference, or being able to divine the difference between an actual psychic attack, whether it's the evil eye or some other form of psychic attack, and just general mental illness or mental difficulties, emotional struggles at the time. Because just because you're experiencing some of these things does not mean that you're a victim of the evil eye or something like that. So having a method for divining that's probably pretty good. I think that the best ways to protect yourself from things like the evil eye and other forms of malediction are to meditate regularly if you can. I know sometimes that's difficult. I understand completely. I'm a horribly busy person. I have witches in the moon. I have a private practice. I am in a PhD program at school. I've actually been taking a couple of semesters off because I just couldn't deal with running my practice and school and everything else. So I do understand that daily meditation is sometimes not going to happen. Sometimes we're so tired when we try to meditate we fall asleep. But clearing your mind is very, very important. Clearing yourself of negativity. Regular smudgings of yourself are very useful. I find that I like to incorporate protective herbs into my soaps so that when I shower on a daily basis, I'm, one, eliminating any negativity that may be around me, and two, creating a barrier. I think personally, my husband is more of a witch than he realizes. I know that it runs in his family, and he is extremely, uncannily intuitive, but also very negative. And I don't know if it's that he's absorbed so much negativity over his life that it's built up toxically within his system, but he tends to send that energy forward. And so I find that I have to keep my protections very strong. I will sometimes even use what I call a crystal bath. Sometimes I will put crystals in the shower water, like I'll tie a crystal to the head, something like a clear quartz, or I may just take a clear quartz or some other protective crystal and bathe my body with it. I find that that's very useful in a protective method. My attitude tends to stay a little cleaner and I tend not to absorb as much of his negativity. It kind of bounces off of me. Rosemary is an herb that I use in my soaps quite a bit. Rosemary and dragon's blood are very good for that. I will sage my house and smudge my house. I also have little reflective discs that I hang in the windows of all my houses to kind of help reflect out some of that negativity, and I find that that's probably pretty useful for protecting my home against something like the evil eye. The evil eye is a specific curse. It's usually very personal, and it's something that's definitely directed directly towards you in some manner, whether it's your property, whether it's you, whether it's a family member. It's going to be very personal, and a lot of times the motivation for the evil eye is very personal. Either the person's very jealous of you, or the person's very angry with you for some reason. It's almost like a stabbing. I kind of equate the evil eye to somebody stabbing you over and over. That kind of killing tends to be very personal, and that's the way the evil eye works. It's very personal. So always guard your thoughts, guard what you say towards other people, and be mindful of that, because sometimes people have a power they don't even know they have, and it can definitely affect you. So keep your protections up, guard yourself. If you are uncertain whether or not you may be under the influence, if you seem to be having a run of bad luck, meditate on it, do a cleansing, get your protections up. Maybe seek the help of a spiritual worker if it's something you don't seem to break. Use the techniques that Mr. Penzik offers in his book. I think that that's a very effective method. Sometimes crystal scrying or candle scrying is also an effective method for finding out if you're under the influence of some sort of a curse, such as the evil eye. I'm sorry that I don't have more information to offer specifically about the evil eye. I realize this video is a little short, but I hope that you've learned something from it, that it's useful to you, and that you can get your protection up and be wary of things like the evil eye. Have a wonderful week, and blessed be.